Good evening, folks. This is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates.
Folks, this is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates coming to you live from the crossroads of the West in Lake City, Utah. The time right now is 7:05 p.m.
Very clear on the backside of the sun, and the earth is hitting the earth is located around 3.5 miles southeast of the earth now. The solar wind is also
Okay, Alan, I understand Alan's here, and we didn't have any sound. Doggone YouTube. Okay, we've got sound now. Okay, I'm sorry we didn't have sound there. Okay, what I've been showing you are helioplots literally from around the world. Okay, this one is from Cathedral Cove, Missouri. Cathedral Cove, Missouri. The last one I showed you, and I'll go back and show it to you again. Okay, this is over in Missouri, the United States of America. Okay, look at these lines. They're literally off the paper. They're literally off the paper. This is Cathedral Cove, Missouri. Let's go back and look at Casey, Antarctica. Right here. This is on the opposite side of the world from Sandpoint, Alaska. Okay? Isn't that something? And down below this major earthquake line that you see here, down below it are horizontal lines. If you count them, there's 5 horizontal lines here. The earthquake is still shaking there. The ground over in Alaska is still shaking. This earthquake has not stopped. Okay? It literally has not stopped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horizontal lines. These are actually, excuse me, they're body waves. Body waves are significant. How long the body waves continue will show us exactly how strong this earthquake is. It's not just the vertical lines. It's not just the vertical lines. The vertical lines are a great indicator of how strong it was. But if we follow the body wave lines, we can truly see how strong this earthquake is. Okay? That first, I'm going to go back now and show you that first helioplot that I showed you. Okay? This is from Adak, Alaska, right here. This is west of Sandpoint. This is several hundred miles west of Sandpoint. Again, I also look at the helioplot from local area. I always go back and look at the helioplot from the local area. This is also a great way to find out how strong this earthquake is. Okay? Look at that. Let's look at another one a bit further away. Let's go over to Florida. Okay? This is from Disney Wilderness Park in Florida. The Wilderness Preserve in Florida. Look at this. The horizontal waves are still flowing here, just like on all the other helioplots. The vertical lines show us that the earthquake is literally off the paper. It was a sin, it was a felony crime to downgrade this earthquake. This is at least a 7.4, and I'm even going to stick my neck out and say a 5 or 7.5 to 7.6 magnitude earthquake. I'm going to show you one more helioplot. This is literally from the other side of the world. This is from Spitsbergen, Norway. Spitsbergen, Norway. Look at this. The same thing is happening on this helioplot as in the other helioplots as well. We're seeing the lines off the paper, the vertical lines off the paper, and we're still seeing the horizontal body wave here. Okay? The ground is still shaking. Look at that bottom horizontal line. The ground is still shaking violently over in Alaska. Okay? That's really telling of what we see here, guys. It really is. Now, I showed you this I showed you this slide last night, and I'm going to show it to you again. This is a danger area for the possible tsunami. Now, we don't have anything. We have no evidence so far that a tsunami wave was generated. Any significant tsunami wave was generated. We have no evidence of that. We have evidence showing that they issued a tsunami warning for this entire area of Alaska. Both sides of the Cook Inlet here. The Cook Inlet is the body of water coming from the Bering Sea here. This is the Bering Sea on the north side of the Aleutian Fault or trench here. Okay, the Cook Inlet goes all the way up to Anchorage, Alaska. On both sides of the Cook Inlet, this diagram is showing the possible idea of a tsunami wave hitting in this same area. Now again, we don't have any evidence to show that a significant tsunami wave hit. The tsunami wave sirens went off as they should have. That is a pat on the back to the emergency managers in Alaska. The sirens did go off. But like I said, there has been no significant tsunami here. There could have been. Anything over a 6.5 magnitude earthquake can generate a tsunami. And it has in the past. The last time we had a tsunami wave here at Sandpoint, Alaska, and throughout this area was a couple of years ago, when we had an 8.7. An 8.7 that hit in the same place. Okay, it first came out as a 7.8 earthquake from USGS, and they literally had to eat their shorts for breakfast. It was an 8.7 magnitude earthquake. There was a 6-foot tsunami wave that was generated from that. Now, just to give you an idea here, okay, I'm going to reduce the size of this so you can see me. Okay, to give you an idea, there is not just one tsunami wave. A lot of people think that when they issue a tsunami warning, it's just one wave. It's not. It's multiple waves. There could be 30, 40, maybe even 50 different tsunami waves. The first few might be more powerful than the ones coming after it. But the ones coming after it can be probably just as deadly. Okay? They were actually expecting at least a 9-foot tsunami wave from last night's earthquake. Okay? A 9-foot tsunami wave. That will give you a good idea of what we're talking about. That did not happen. That did not happen. It was only a minor wave, if at that. And as soon as we get any more information, we'll be passing it on to you. But this is where that tsunami wave could have hit last night, and it did not do that. So folks, we are still getting data in from this area, and we will probably see data for several days now. I wouldn't be surprised to see data even as late as tomorrow, maybe even Tuesday. But that is what's happening. Okay? There was a significant earthquake here. It was not a 7.2 earthquake as they downgraded it to. The earthquake came out as a 7.4. They subsequently downgraded over several hours to a 7.2. As I showed you on the Helioplot, the Helioplot definitely shows you a much larger earthquake. I would dare say even a 7.5, 7.6. magnitude earthquake. That remains to be seen. As we watch and investigate the helioplots, and we see the corresponding body waves from this earthquake, that will give us the information that we can definitively say how strong this earthquake was. So folks, do you have any questions here? I'll be happy to take some questions here. The tsunami wave threat, the indication from NOAA last night said there was no threat to the west coast of North America, Canada, or the United States west coast. There was no tsunami threat at all over in Hawaii. There was no threat issued for Hawaii, only Alaska. Okay? Now, Polly is here in the chat, and Polly is talking about 2 CMEs that were launched from the sun. These CMEs, folks, were powerful solar flares. Okay? They were upper C-class solar flares. Now, what you need to know about it is they were Earth-facing. Okay? We already got the brunt of the solar flare. It's disrupted, the solar flare has disrupted radio and television communications here on Earth. If you watch your cable programs, if you watch your satellite TV programs, or if you communicate on ham radio and high frequencies, or if you communicate as a police officer or a firefighter, you're going to find your radio communications spotty at best. That is because the plasma radiation launched from the sun, the X-class part of it, and it was not an X-class flare. It was a plasma radiation hitting the Earth. But that plasma radiation that hit the Earth at the beginning is some of the worst part. And it will disrupt radio communications. It disrupts satellite communications as well, between Earth and satellites orbiting the Earth. It disrupted communications with the space station to a significant amount. I monitor NASA frequencies. Okay, so it disrupted ground to space station communications and their data. Their data from the space station, from the astronauts aboard the space station. Okay? That can happen. Now, what I'm going to tell you about solar flares. For those of you that have been watching my channels over the past 4.5 years, this may not come as any surprise to you. I believe that because we're in a solar cycle 25, we are seeing increased solar activity. Because of that, our magnetosphere that surrounds the Earth, that protects the Earth, has thinned out because of the increase in solar activity. We are at the beginning of solar cycle 25. Before the end of solar cycle 25, if what holds true in past solar cycles, we may see the magnetosphere thicken again. That is usually what happens before the end of a solar max cycle. That's what we're hoping happens. But because there have been so many very large solar flares so rapidly after the beginning of this solar cycle 25, the magnetosphere has thinned out. So all of those eruptions from the sun that have sent plasma radiation out, it has thinned out our magnetosphere, and that plasma radiation is getting down to the Earth, to the surface of the Earth, where you and I stand. It even gets into the center of the Earth. Okay? That plasma radiation heats up the core of the Earth as well. What you also need to know is that solar radiation, that plasma radiation, the cosmic radiation that we normally get, and we're getting more of because that magnetosphere is thinned out, and we're getting electromagnetic pulse radiation from planetary alignments. With all of that said, we're going to see increased earthquake activity. Why? Because as those solar flares happen, okay, that plasma radiation gets to the Earth, doesn't it? It's heating up the plates. It's heating up the plates. Okay? And I'm going to show you, just by a demonstration here, how that happens. Either down in the South Pacific, where there's 7 tectonic plates, one subducting under the other down there, or up in the Cascadia region, where we have the Explorer plate, we have the Juan de Fuca plate, and we have the Pacific plate. All 3 plates are subducting underneath the North American plate. Canada and the United States, the North American plate. As those plates heat up, all the junk that has been sitting at the bottom of the ocean, all that dirt, that grime, the rock, the sand, everything, the biological material, that is heating up as well. And as that stuff heats up that was holding those plates together, it heats up and creates an oily, slimy, greasy-like substance there that held the plates together. But when that turns into that oily, greasy substance, it allows the plates to move. It allows those plates to move just like this. Okay? When those plates move, that is called an earthquake. And we're seeing more and more frequent earthquakes all around the entire Earth. That's why it is happening. You can take that to the bank. This 7.5 earthquake was possibly as a result of one of those CMEs that launched to the Earth on Thursday. Okay? So what Polly said was absolutely correct. Okay? This is exactly what is going on. Richard Smith says, Earth is a tiny craft in the ocean of space under major pressure. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Richard. Earth is just as a microscopic speck in the universe. There's other planets that God created. We've seen them. As man has gotten smart, as man has evolved, and science continues to evolve, man has put together very powerful telescopes that reach far out into the universe. Planets have been discovered way out in space. It's amazing that nothing more has happened right now. We're very lucky. Okay, we are very lucky. George Rashad, who's one of our avid followers over the years, who just found us again just a few weeks ago, he's here in the chat. He says, was there any volcanic activity prior to or after the quake? Yes, there was. Also, just west of where this quake hit, Shishaldin volcano. Shishaldin volcano erupted. Now, I'm going to see if I can find a picture that I had of Shishaldin volcano. So if you guys would just bear with me for a second here. I do have a picture of Shishaldin volcano. The Shishaldin volcano erupted on Friday, and it was not a major eruption at all. I saw a helicopter video that flew around Shishaldin volcano yesterday. There is some lava that came out of the summit of the volcano. Just a second, I'm still trying to find the picture of Shishaldin volcano here. Here it is right here. This is Shishaldin volcano in Alaska. It's a very symmetrical, it almost looks like a perfect triangle. This is a huge volcano. It's a stratovolcano in Alaska. And up at the top of it, you see some lava, but that was from a previous eruption. I'm going to try to find the helicopter footage showing you fresh lava and some steam and ash that is presently coming out of Shishaldin volcano. It's still erupting. It's in an eruptive phase. This happens about every year or two. Okay? The Shishaldin volcano erupted on Friday. And so that was after the solar flare on Thursday. And yes, solar flares could play a hand or a factor in these volcanic eruptions. Okay? Earth processes are affected by what happens on the sun. Jesse says a Cascadia alert for sure. Well, I don't think we're going to get a megathrust earthquake within the next few days or a week. It could happen. It could happen in the next few weeks or the next few months. But right now there's no indication that the Cascadia megathrust earthquake is going to happen anytime soon. It could though. It's about 25 years overdue. Okay? That's what's going on. Deep Quake Paul's here. Thank you, Deep Quake Paul, for being here. We appreciate you, brother. He is talking about this 7.4 earthquake now in Papua New Guinea. So now we have a 7.4 earthquake in Papua New Guinea on the exact opposite area of the Earth in the southern hemisphere, a 7.4 earthquake. Okay? It can happen. Deep Quake Paul says, nice goatee, Ron. Thank you. Thank you. I've had some people talk about my crazy goatee. I started this on a whim about 3 weeks ago. And it looked pretty rotten at first. Okay? I have, as you can see, I have brown hair. Okay? This started coming in with some gray and brown. And now it's growing out really well, and it looks halfway decent. Jesse says this is the Pacific Ring of Fire. It absolutely is. where this earthquake happened last night, early this morning, it happened in the northern part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. The southern end, that's down in Indonesia, down over into New Zealand, over into Tonga and Fiji in that area, and it also goes over to Chile, where the volcanoes are in Chile. Okay? It wraps around the entire Pacific Ocean, north to south, east to west. The western side, Japan, Korea, Kamchatka Peninsula, Indonesia, the Philippines, oh yeah, all that area. And oh, by the way, just so you know, let me go down here, and I hate even doing this. This kind of ticks me off. Well, you guys know that I am not a, what shall I say, an avid fan of the United States Geological Survey. Okay, most of you know that. But they have some of the best maps. Okay, so right here, okay, well, I'm just going to have to back it out just a little bit more. Right here, all of the land masses that surround the Pacific Ocean, all the way down to Casey, Antarctica, all the way down to Casey, Antarctica, this comprises the Pacific Ring of Fire. Why do they call it the Ring of Fire? Because of volcanoes all around the Pacific Ocean. The Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire. Now, I like the sound of that phrase called the Ring of Fire. For those of you that are younger, you may not recognize a name that sung a song called, and it goes down, 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 the Ring of Fire, the Ring of Fire, the Ring of Fire, Johnny Cash. Okay? Johnny Cash. Deep Quake Paul, my friends, calls it the USBS. I agree. They really are. They really are. You can't make it up. You cannot make this up. You know, and it really gripes me because I have actually sent messages to the USBS. I've sent letters, I've sent emails, I have made telephone calls, and they say, oh, Ron, we don't lie to the public, we don't hide earthquakes, we don't downgrade earthquakes. Really? Really, we saw the downgrade last night on this Alaska quake from 7.4 to 7.2. Really? You don't downgrade the quakes? Yeah, you do. And they hide earthquakes. They are not honest at all. Now, one of the other things that I want to tell you, if you've been watching this program for any time period, during this past week, we had a major earthquake. Well, not a major, I'm sorry. We had a very strong earthquake here. Down here, just off the coast of southern Mexico. A 6.8 magnitude earthquake hit here. And I believe it might have been stronger than that. But it hit right down here, just off the coast of southern Mexico and nearly Guatemala. That earthquake was felt all the way over here into the Yucatan Peninsula, where Belize is. It was felt all the way over into Belize. And if Larry Smith had been alive, he would have felt that quake. And he would have been on the phone to me, as he always has. Okay? It's unreal. That earthquake was felt all the way over in Belize. Now, with that said, there's been another earthquake here. Okay? This is a 5.1 earthquake that hit today. A 5.1 earthquake hit 6 miles north of Santa Teresa, Mexico. Santa Teresa, Mexico. Yesterday, another earthquake hit here, right next to Popocatépetl, Mexico. A 5.0 earthquake hit here yesterday, right next to the active Mexican volcano, Popocatépetl. So folks, yes, we have had seismic activity, and I believe it was possibly as a result of that CME that was launched from the sun on Thursday. Okay? Off the coast of the resort areas, what I call the Mexican Riviera, out here, guess what? This is a 4.4 earthquake here. 4.4 moderate earthquake out here in the Pacific Ocean, off the Riviera of Mexico. Why do we call it the Riviera of Mexico? Acapulco, Manzanillo, what is it called? It starts with a J. I can't even remember the resort's name. I haven't talked about it in quite a while. But there's another resort here too. Acapulco, Manzanillo. Oh gosh. I know I'm going to be kicking myself another hour so when I remember what the name of it was. But anyway, this whole area. Okay? This is the Mexican Riviera. Okay? Up here we have Puerto Vallarta. Puerto Vallarta. Right there. When we get a lot of earthquakes, as we've had in the past, and yes, there have been swarms of earthquakes in this area, these towns shake. These towns shake. Okay? It's incredible. Now, Deep Quake Paul is talking about an earthquake over here in the chat. Well, not just an earthquake, it was a volcano that erupted over in Kyushu, Japan, which is in southern Japan. Sakurajima exploded today. Sakurajima exploded up to 9,000 feet high. 9,000 feet high. While that is not in the stratosphere, that still is a significant eruption in Japan. Now, Sakurajima also lies in a caldera called the Aso caldera, because there's several other volcanoes over right next to Sakurajima. Aso-san, which is the main volcano there, and that caldera has erupted in the past year. Aso-san and Sakurajima in the past have erupted almost simultaneously. But today we have Sakurajima erupting up to 9,000 feet high. It's a big deal. Okay? Does anybody have any questions here? Nathan Hester says, what's that, about 10 miles high? If you think about this, okay? 9,000 feet. That's only 2 miles high. A mile is 5,280 feet. So this is nearly 2 miles high. That's still a significant eruption. Okay? It's still a big deal. Now, oh, and I forgot to tell you about this. I'm so sorry. Dave Quake Paul is talking about this one too. Yesterday, Bagana volcano over in Papua New Guinea erupted. Bagana, B-A-G-A-N-A, volcano in Papua New Guinea erupted. We have not seen this volcano erupt in a very, very long time. I don't remember the last time it erupted. But it erupted up to 54,000 feet high. A 54,000 foot high eruption. That's in the stratosphere, guys. That ash, the CO2 and SO2 from that eruption went up into the stratosphere, which will circle the Earth at least 2 or 3 times before it ends. Okay? It'll circle the Earth 2 or 3 times. That was, and excuse this, I'm not saying this to make any laugh at this, because it's not. It's a serious matter. It's not a pun. But that is a huge eruption. That is a huge eruption down in Papua New Guinea. For those of you that don't know where Papua New Guinea is, right here is Papua New Guinea. This is a 5.3 earthquake that is hit here today. This is in, what's it called? Finnish, F-I-N-S-C-H, Haven. Finnish Haven, Papua New Guinea. A 5.3 large earthquake. Okay, this is 84 miles deep. Anywhere between 39 to 69 miles deep is where the Earth's crust ends, and we get down into what they call the plastic magma down here, and it flows around the Earth. So this earthquake that happened here is down in that part of the Earth. Okay? It's incredible. That was a deep earthquake. This one here, this is a 4.3, also in Papua New Guinea. Madang, Papua New Guinea. This is down into 28 miles deep. 28 miles deep. But again, when we get these earthquakes that are down below 39 to 69 miles deep, that area is what they call the crust of the Earth, where you and I walk on. If you think about it, anywhere from 39 to 69 miles deep, that's not very far. That is not relatively very far at all. And yet we're having those earthquakes originate from down in the plastic magma area. Okay? The asthenosphere is what they call it. The asthenosphere. So that's what's happening. Okay? Bagana volcano erupted, 54,000 foot eruption. That's huge. And I should have told you about that right after it happened. I'm sorry. It was just a few days ago. I think Friday. It erupted. I'm showing you this earthquake here. This is down in Indonesia, central Indonesia. This is only a 4.3 moderate earthquake here. This is only 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Really is not a big deal. One of the other large earthquakes that hit before the earthquake in Alaska today, this is a 5.1 earthquake down in the Kuril Islands. In the Kuril Islands. The Kuril Islands are owned by Russia. They're owned by Russia. Further south here, also in the Kuril Islands, is a 4.0 moderate quake. 72 miles deep. Okay? This 5.1 is 23 miles deep. Okay? So you can actually see what has happened here. Okay? Now I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to show you how deep this major earthquake was. Okay? This, folks, is 20.2 miles deep. 20.2 miles deep. That is a very shallow earthquake. Major earthquakes are usually very shallow. I don't think we've had anything over 40 miles deep before. Major earthquake. Does anybody have any questions right now? Okay? A new earthquake of 5.1 deep quake pulse putting also in Papua New Guinea. A new 5.1 earthquake in Papua New Guinea today. Any questions? Heather's asking, do I have any info on Cat 3 Hurricane Calvin headed for Hawaii? Folks, the information I have about Calvin, okay, let me get out of this thing here. Let me pull up oh, right here, yes. That was what I wanted to show you. Okay. You can see Hurricane Calvin here. It's the hurricane that's over here in the Pacific Ocean. Okay, right here. Let's see if we can zoom in here. Nope, it's not going to let us zoom in. Hurricane Calvin is a Category 3 storm. Earlier this week, I actually had the cone of the track, the hurricane track. Yes, this could get over into Hawaii, but I don't believe, okay, I do not believe that this hurricane will be a hurricane once it hits Hawaii. I think this is going to peter out, okay? Yes, it's getting into warmer waters, and for a time, it could intensify, okay? It could intensify. This is a Category 3, winds of up to probably 103, 105 miles per hour. That's pretty powerful. But like I said, as this goes further northwest, I think it's going to peter out. If it does hit Hawaii, it might hit Hawaii as a Category 1. That is my feeling now. Heather, what do you say? Heather is our meteorological expert. Heather, what is your thoughts about Hurricane Calvin? Right now, folks, while I'm kind of waiting to see what Heather would say about this earthquake here, or not earthquake, this hurricane. I'm not sure if we're going to get an answer from Heather. I'm hoping she does come back here. I know she was here, but I don't believe this is going to hit Hawaii as any more than maybe a Category 1, if that. Okay? It might hit as a tropical storm. That's what I'm thinking right now. I could be wrong. In the next day or so, in fact, by tomorrow, we probably should know more definitive information about what this hurricane is going to do. Like I said, I think it's going to peter out into probably a tropical storm before it reaches Hawaii. And I could be wrong. I will get more information for you. Okay? We've got, well, they basically took it down. Okay? We also have another storm down here, or I should say up here. This is Hurricane Dawn. Hurricane Dawn. Okay? It's right here in the Atlantic Ocean, the North Atlantic here. Okay? Look at this. Over on the left side top, this is where that storm is. Okay? It's powering off to the north and east. Okay? And as you can see, we don't believe this is going to be anything. It's going to peter out into the center of the North Atlantic Ocean, and it's going to go away. It's not going to hit any land masses or anything else. It's just going to go away. Okay? That is what we have about Hurricane Dom here. It was just, honestly, it was nothing more than a tropical storm until about 2 days ago, and then they upgraded it to a Cat 1. Okay? But it's nothing major to even hardly be concerned with. Okay? It's not anything major to really be concerned with. Hurricane Dom here. Over here, let me see if I can pick up a cone of uncertainty here. Yes, we have a storm track right here. This is what they call the cone of uncertainty. This could hit over here by Hilo, Hawaii. Okay? It could hit over here on the western portion of the Big Island. Now, like I said, I don't believe, and I could be wrong, I don't believe that this is going to be a full-blown Category 1 or Category 3. I believe this probably is going to peter out into nothing more than a tropical storm. And I hope that's the case. I could be wrong. Okay? I could be very wrong. Okay? They're calling this the East Pacific Tropical Storm Calvin here. Tropical Storm Calvin. Lyle Wiley says those helioplots look bigger than a 7.6. It could be. Okay? I'm trying to be very conservative when I showed you those helioplots. Okay? I was trying to be very conservative. I'm pretty much a conservative guy. But let me show you this one from Florida, for example. This is a long distance from Alaska. Okay? Right here. This is a long distance from Alaska. Look at these vertical lines here. They're literally off the paper. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Look how long this major earthquake shook. Okay? Those vertical lines shook for 30 minutes. Those were actually about 45 minutes. Okay? Those vertical lines showed a very intense earthquake. It's not completely blown off and completely black, as we've seen 9.0s get before, but this is a very strong earthquake. Okay? Very strong is usually 6s, 6.0, 6.9. This is a major earthquake. And I'm being conservative calling it a 7.4 to 7.5. By the end of today, we should know exactly. It may be a 7.6 or maybe a little bit larger. Okay? That is in my own humble opinion. Okay? That's what's going on. Sister Gabriella is in the chat saying that Calvin, she heard, was a Category 3. The NOAA is calling it a Tropical Storm Calvin. That's what they've named it, Tropical Storm Calvin. It could be a Category 3. That's what I heard last night. Okay? I heard that last night. Any other comments here, guys? Linda Covington is in the chat, and before we leave this was primarily about the broadcast today, right now, was primarily about the 7.4, 7.5 earthquake in Alaska early this morning. Like I said, it could be a 7.6 or larger. But Linda Covington is put here in the chat about the Operation Underground Railroad. Yesterday afternoon, we went to see the Sound of Freedom movie. Okay? Now, I'm going to notify Angel Studios that I made the following statement to you on the air. I'm giving them free advertisement. Some people paid it forward and have bought tickets so people that cannot afford to go see that movie can get free tickets to see that movie through Angel Studios. And you can go to any major ticket handler like Fandango or wherever and get those free tickets. Now, and you can get them through your email. They'll send you information through your email, and you can redeem those same tickets. You can print them up and take those tickets to the theaters, and you can get in for free if you can't afford it. But this movie was well worth the money to go see. We have a movie theater called the Marquee Movie Theater here in Morganton. It's a 7-screen movie theater. It's a great theater. Very clean, very modern. And I was impressed. And I went to see Top Gun, the movie here with Tom Cruise last year. But quite honestly, The Sound of Freedom was a wonderful movie, and was based on a true story of child trafficking, where child traffickers grabbed a man's children, a little young boy and his just slightly older sister. His sister was 8, he was 5. They ended up in Venezuela, in the mountains of Venezuela. And an FBI agent that had been assigned to the trafficker unit. And he also worked with Homeland Security. Well, FBI is all part of Homeland Security, okay? The Homeland Security is a huge umbrella encompassing all of federal law enforcement, okay? But the gentleman that was portrayed in the movie had actually worked with Homeland Security and the FBI in the development of this movie. The actor was awesome. But the movie portrays this federal agent going into Venezuela as an individual agent with no backup. No federal agent backup. He made friends, and I'm not giving away any part of the movie. You have to see it to fully understand what happened. Okay? This federal agent went into Venezuela with no backup. He made friends with law enforcement agents in Venezuela. You have to understand, Venezuela is literally owned and run by the Communist Party from Russia. Fact. But he made friends with agents of law enforcement in Venezuela. and they helped him. But where he went to find this girl, this 8-year-old girl that was by this time about 10, child trafficking for sex. He first rescued the young boy, then he continued after the girl. Homeland Security fired him. Homeland Security fired this agent. He continued on his own. After he rescued the young boy, Homeland Security fired him. He continued on his own to rescue this girl. He notified his wife of his decision, and his wife backed him. He explained the danger of the entire situation. Going in after this girl might be dangerous and cost him his life. Under heavy gunfire, he rescued the girl and left on a boat while they were shooting at him. And they followed him for a distance. He rescued the girl and brought the girl to her father and her brother. And there was a very close bond between that 8-year-old girl and the 5-year-old son. The 8-year-old girl gave her brother a special necklace. And I'm not going to tell you any more about that. At the end of the movie, that necklace that she had given to her brother before she had been kidnapped, the agent got it from the brother and gave it back to her. A great story. Folks, this is a very important movie. A very important movie. With all the child trafficking going on all over the world, the United States government, the United States of America, and Canada has the worst record for child trafficking from all around the world. The United States of America, God's country, they say. God's country. The United States and Canada have the worst records for child sex trafficking in the world. Fact. Folks, go see this movie. This is probably one of the most important movies you will ever see. I have seen movies similar about this, not about child trafficking, but patriotic style movies that were just as good. This is probably one of the most important movies that you will ever see in your life. You need to see this. We have to. We must stop what's going on. We must stop what's going on. Innocent, and Linda Covington saying this, innocent children being stained for life. Those children will not forget what happened to them. Now, that Homeland Security agent didn't just recover her and her brother. He recovered about 50 other children as well. And he took out some kingpins in the process. He took out some cartel kingpin in the process. Big time traffickers. A fact. Okay? Ellen Hughes is asking, what is it called? It's called Sounds of Freedom. Sounds of Freedom. Sandra Chapman says, This movie is the Lord's way of opening up on the evil. I agree. But you need to see this movie. You need to see this movie. Joanne says, Ron, what's a 20-mile caldera in Colorado? It's dormant, becoming active. I thought I'd never get to see anybody that was interested in that caldera. It's called No Name. No Name. Out on Interstate 70, as you're driving out in the mountains, you're going to come to an area, an exit from Interstate 70 called No Name. Okay? And you take that up to the north, you run into the caldera. And yes, it's supposed to be dormant, but it is becoming active. It is becoming active. Do you have any other questions? Because we're going to get out of here, and in another short few minutes we're going to come back on the air with Come Follow Me, the Savior Said, which is our weekly Sunday school class. If any of you are interested in joining us for that class. That class is going to, gosh, it's now 2 hours later than I wanted to start that Sunday school class. If this earthquake had not happened, I would have been on the air when we came on the air for this. I would have been on the air for our Sunday school class. So immediately after this seismic class is over, we will start within probably 15 minutes. We'll start with Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. We're going to be talking about Acts chapter 16. 16, 17, and 18, in fact. So please come join us for that. We'd sure appreciate it. We have 73 thumbs up, which I greatly appreciate. Please, folks, if you have not already given us a thumbs up, please do so. Please check your subscriptions. We're still getting people unsubscribed by YouTube. Okay? Don't know why they do it, but they do. Please check your subscriptions. Make sure you're subscribed. If not, please subscribe or resubscribe. 25% of the people that watch this program are not subscribed to this program. Please subscribe, and when you do that, you're going to see a small, tiny icon. It will have a bell in the middle of the icon. Click on that bell icon. There will be a drop-down menu of 3 items. Click on the word ALL. That should get you notified when we come on the air. But again, YouTube does not do their job. They selectively tell people when we come on the air. We come on the air Monday through Friday between 6 and 7 p.m. every day during the weekday, Monday through Friday. On Saturday, we usually take the day off. But guess what? We came on the air 3 times yesterday to talk about that explosion at the Dow chemical plant in Plaquemine, Louisiana. And that story is not over. I'll get into that another time, probably tomorrow. But folks, please know that we come on the air at odd times to bring up important information that everybody needs to see. We have quite a few people that live in Alaska. That's one of the reasons we came on to talk about it. But other lives might have been in danger from that earthquake. If this had been the kind of earthquake that would have generated a major tsunami, people would have seen tsunami waves in Hawaii, Washington, and Oregon, and California, and even into Canada. So we come on the air to try to save lives. That's why this channel is in existence, to save lives. I hope and pray that you've gotten the information that you needed from our presentation today. Okay? If you have any questions, be sure to email me them or send me messages on Messenger or messaging. I will be happy to answer any questions at any time. Okay? I hope you all have a great day. If you don't watch our Sunday school class, please come back tomorrow just after 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll be back with another episode of Emergency Management Associates. Until then, have a wonderful day. We hope to see you in our Sunday school class in another 15 or 20 minutes. Take care, everybody. Much love. I do care about you all, and may God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side.